Hello and welcome to our Changeling, the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition Chronicle, Toronto by Day, Tales from the Rookery. As a warning, this is a mature game, though sometimes it masquerades as not, and it may explore some dark and troubling themes. These may include, but are not restricted to, body horror, gore, violence, loss of character agency, gaslighting, mind control, and many others. Our players have already discussed consent and boundaries, and we collectively work to avoid situations that may be triggering. The players will always let me know if anything gets uncomfortable by using yellow and red cards in our private chat. And if you, as a viewer, ever feel uncomfortable or triggered, please feel free to pause, step away. Our streams are always available on YouTube after the game, so you can always come back to an episode when you feel more prepared. Or you can just skip the episode, go on to the next one. And we would like to thank our sponsor, Artoria Designs, who have made these wonderful dice boxes. Yeah, of course, I can't see the camera the minute I do that. These are fantastic little, well-designed, gorgeous pieces of dice folding wonders that you're seeing a few on the screen now. They're starting to spread among the motley. They're becoming a thing. So, and Mikhail Artoria, or Artoria Designs, is usually right over there in the chat. So say hello, Mikhail, and we'll put your information up. So if anybody wants to contact him, he also does vampire-themed dice boxes. He's working on other World of Darkness themed dice boxes, and he has recently been testing other interesting creations that are pretty darn awesome. So I am going to stroll around the clock here and introduce our folk so that they can introduce themselves to you and tell you who they're playing tonight, and then we'll find out what went on last we met. So I have no idea where I started last time, and the order does not matter. So this time, let's start with Zev.
Hey everyone, I'm Zev, playing Volodymyr Mihailovich, your friendly neighborhood knocker.
Fantastic. Thank you, Zev. Next up, we have Haley, please.
Hi, I'm Haley, also known as Beyblade666 on the internet. I'm playing Rosaline Kelly tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Haley. Next up, we have Crystal, please.
I'm Crystal. I'll be playing Lily Winters, your friendly neighborhood Corid.
Thank you, Crystal. And next up, Najra.
Hey everyone, I'm Najra. I play Bagua, the very curious Aishu.
Gesundheit. And finally, wrapping up the motley tonight, we have Michael.
Hi everybody, my name is Michael Walsh. I will be playing Hunter, your law enforcement troll.
Beautiful. That is fantastic. Now, let us once again allow the dice to decide who it is that is going to recap what happened last. Oh, okay. Hunter.
Just loves
If
to
you will
pick
be
on
so
me.
kind, other people can also chime in to make commentary and add to the history of what went on when last we saw the motley.
Let me
But
just
if you'd be
bring
so
up my
kind as
notes.
to, yeah,
I'm a note guy, you know this.
Fantastic.
You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Notes are important.
Yes, they are, especially when they're on an online resource. Not a sponsor, Evernote. So, let's go with we headed to the Big Trouble Bistro for our meeting. We did stop off at the dance cave to leave a message with the doorman. And we all reconvened to head to the restaurant at 4 p.m. Volodymyr was able to craft together some eggs, and he has some other ideas of things he's concocting in the extremely near future. We had a meeting with Rookery, I think I'm pronouncing that right. A very large man with a red suit and a blue shirt that semi-towers over even me. A little intimidated, a little bit.
Hitoshi.
Hitoshi. You're talking to the
Haruki's
guy
the
with a
kid.
speech impediment. Let's see. And then we got to the point that we were stuck with a major decision as to if we're going to continue doing a favor for a favor for a favor, or if we're going to try a different path. And that's where our cliffhanger kind of left off on.
Mm,
I'm sure I'm probably missing
We met the
smaller bits.
yeah, we met the aunt. She
And
was
we
not
met
pleased to
aunt.
see us at all.
Yeah.
And it was totally her fault that why the raccoons were turning into teapots.
and we learned why.
Cause they stole her snacks that she had on a altar as like offerings to her ancestors and stuff.
They were probably pretty tasty. Just
I
saying.
also tried to
Probably, but
intimidate
you shouldn't take
Hiroshi.
those.
Oh, it's a raccoon.
I also tried to intimidate Hiroshi.
You did.
Oh,
Found out he can
you
see
did.
spirits, yeah.
That stone cold stare.
I hid behind Hiroshi a lot.
Okay, excellent. So when last we had left, you were leaving. I'll check my notes very quickly for the name of the little place with pagoda out back. It's Bamboo Leaves. So you were leaving the leaves
Leaving the leaves.
and heading out. So I'm going to figure that it being the the end of a very busy Saturday, you would have dispersed to your various abodes and spent Sunday doing what you normally do. How many people are down Glamour? Okay. I would like all of you, we're going to make it a quick and easy skip today. I would like all of you to roll me charisma plus kenning. And your difficulty is 6s and up.
Uh-oh.
So that's even if you don't need to top up.
If you don't need to top up, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Those who need to top up a little glamour, charisma plus kenning.
I got 1 success.
2 successes.
Okay, you folk with 1 and 2 successes don't actually get to achieve anything quite yet. However, with 3 successes, Ardishu does indeed gain back a point of glamour. So comes from spending Sunday hanging around with your dreamers and being a little bit of a muse, swapping stories and inspiring them to create things.
We're starting a comic. The first page is basically Hunter pulling Sev.
So your group of dreamers is going to start a comic book detailing the adventures based somewhat on the characters in the Motley.
Yep.
I'm impressed
read
with
it.
that. Yeah.
I'd read it.
Fan art is well received, guys.
Okay.
Loving it.
So it hits Monday. I'm going to let the dice decide what we're going to go with first.
So because just to clarify, because last session we went back out through the restaurant to the street and to the streetcar stop. So is it just
Yes.
like we went home after that?
Yes. Yep.
And
back.
we have yet to give the aunt her answer. Hinode to give her answer of yes, we're gonna take your thing so you can undo the whatever you put on the raccoons.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, where is everyone and what is everyone doing on Monday?
What time is it?
Well, I would expect Monday morning.
Morning.
I'd be sleeping because I work overnights.
Okay.
like going into work.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Lily if I can visit her at work.
Sure. That's the library. Anybody can visit my work.
Like it's different going than going to visit you.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'm trying to think of like, cause yeah, I'll just probably be around the, you know, the counter where you can check books in and out, so you can look for me there.
Okay, so you're gonna be there like mid-morning. Like hi, I have so many questions, and I think you're the only one that knows the answer to them.
Okay. So
And
what, well, actually, let's, cause there's like a little, kind of a do anything sort of room. You could study in there, or like, you know, just kind of, let's head off there if you, rather than being out where all the rest of the patrons are.
yep, okay.
So yeah, so questions.
Yeah, like okay, you said like I've met other people like us, but not like long term, more like hangout kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, how bad is to try and take a deal with someone that we don't know about? Like, if we don't do it, are we gonna die or something? Like, how does that work? Are our heads
Like,
gonna
no, like we wouldn't
explode?
die. It's just like, okay, the one we took with the Baron and whatnot, that was it Baron storyteller? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So but yeah, that one, not fulfilling that one could be dangerous, but this one is more like we're trading literally a small, it's supposed to be a small favor for a small favor. The only trick with that is that sometimes somebody else's, to them it's a small favor, but to us is a big pain in the patukas. So, you know.
And if we sign the contract but we don't do it, or if we take forever to do it, nothing bad's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, because it sounded like it wasn't going to be any sort of, it was more like a verbal sort of contract with her. So that's a bit more fuzzy as far as how soon you have to do it, or like the parameters or whatever. The only real problem is we don't know, like, she told us who it is that the initial bargain was made with, but I don't know who they are. Do I, storyteller?
No, you do not.
I don't. Yeah, so no, I don't know who they are, and I don't know. Basically, that means that I can't gauge if it's a big deal or a not big deal.
Actually, you've been reading books and getting stuff sent to you from certain libraries you have access to.
Oh yeah, stacks.
That, yeah, well, and a little bit more than that. Okay, roll me intelligence plus enigmas. Ancient mysteries does apply, so your tens double, but you're going to have to get tens. Actually, let's make it nines and tens. It's a difficult thing to know about, but it's not impossible.
Where the fudge is the?
Intelligence plus enigmas will be 7 dice.
Oh, duh. It just kept scanning the same 2 wrong columns for the thing I needed. 3 9s, you say?
9s and 10s.
1. Nope, nope, nope. That's 2. 2 9s.
2 9s. You found some slight reference to the term Wu Chan, and it's in a couple of really, really old books. So these things have publication dates in the really low 4-digit range. So whether it's a people or a society or a race or what it is exactly, it's been around for a long, long time. However, it doesn't
Okay.
quite say what Wu Chan are. It just, there are references like, and then the Wu Chan did this.
Ah, so it's just, you know who that is because we know who that is and we're not going to tell you.
Yes.
I see.
Uh-oh.
So, but that would be who we met, not who she has to deal with.
No, that's who she has to deal with.
Oh, because last time you said Odurushu, dancing butterfly.
That was the actual name of the Wu Chan.
Oh, okay. I see now. Oh yes. All I really know about who Auntie Hinode made the deal with is that they're really, really old. I was only able to find a couple of references to them, and they were written in kind of the way of like, you know how in like old books they just write things and assume that you know what they're talking about in their modern day, because of course everybody knows, but we don't anymore. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. And I'm not in for like the money or anything, but there is there like if we save the raccoons, like why are we saving the raccoons if it's like a citywide problem? Isn't like the Baron or someone like really high should be worried about raccoons turning into teapots?
Um, no, that's actually exactly our job because the Baron, for the most part, delegates. So, and I'm pretty sure there is bigger things that are going on. Well, like when we were at court and those people on the motorcycles came in, that was something that he dealt with personally, as far as I could tell, and having direct conversations with people. Meanwhile, you know, we talked about it when we were meeting with him of like, hey, there's raccoons turning into teapots. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll just send you in the direction of these people and maybe you can solve it. Like this was not a high priority for him.
But if we solve it, are we kind of like in the circle, closer to the circle? I don't know how this works.
Well,
Like, do they
it's
like us
the
better?
more things that we can actually accomplish and get taken care of, then yes. I mean, that's, you know, kind of think of it as like a little bit like a business. And it's like, well, this is kind of our job, is to solve strange problems like this of, okay, raccoons are turning into teapots. On the one hand, and on the other hand, you really can't have regular people, you know, humans, seeing that happen because they start to ask questions, and that those questions might lead to us, and that would be a big problem. So yeah, but mean, we probably should just do, take the deal or whatever. It's just, I mean, because I've been doing this with, well, the people who had been here before you, and it's just a little personally exhausting to, go from, okay, well, we're trying to fix this one problem and that leads to fixing this other problem that leads to like all this other stuff. And it's, I don't know if you ever played video games, it's just endless side quests. And
Okay. All right. So if we're technically not gonna die if we fail or something, um, technically party, technically. And
yeah, it's like, well, I don't think we'd die for not doing it, but I don't think doing it would kill us either. At least I hope not.
okay. All right. So I think I'm a bit more confident to accepting that deal. Uh,
Yeah, well, I mean, also because I mean, like I said, finding any reference of these, who Auntie Hinode made the deal with, being so rare and old, like part of me is just terribly curious because I like to know things. It's kind of why I work in a library. So,
okay, I was hesitant before, but now that you said curiosity, I'm like unknown people. I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, well, I
uh,
haven't met them. Who are they? What do they like? What secrets do they have?
yeah,
Can I have them?
yeah, I'm definitely in. Definitely. Yep. So should we talk to everyone? Should we like text them? Should we are we
Well,
meeting?
yeah, I mean, we could just, yeah, do a quick text of like, actually like pull out my phone and do people want to meet to vote over deciding on Auntie Hinode thing, or is phone voting okay? And send.
So Hunter would keep an eye open since he's semi out of it as it is. He's used to only catching maybe 6 hours as it is before he has to get up and do his daily routine. He cracks an eye open, he picks up his phone. I'd like to vote on it either way. However, I may have a different solution.
You get a text back that's just Auntie is scary. I bet whoever she's owing a favor to also scary. I vote no.
I will do whatever it takes to help.
And while Lily, you're texting on the phone,
Yep.
and you're in this kind of like side study area,
Yeah.
which
Well, I
is
was
which
just
is
gonna
yeah,
a quick
which
add to
is
the conversation that Najra is here next to me, and she is leaning towards yes.
yeah. As you guys are there, which is kind of off the beaten path from the library itself. One of the other junior librarians sticks their head into the area, looks around, sees you, and says, "There's somebody at the circulation desk for you. Young guy. Do
Yep.
you want me to send him this way, or do you want to come out?"
No, yeah, just give him directions, because we're, I'm helping her, so we're, I can
Okay. And
kind
she disappears right quick.
of, okay.
And about, 30 seconds, 45 seconds later, Jimmy sticks his head around the corner and says, "Oh, hey, okay." And kind of saunters into the area, hands in his pockets, wearing a pair of blue jeans, a pair of Keds, a black hoodie that doesn't have any advertising on it at all, over a black t-shirt. Hands just kind of, tucked in his pockets, looking very relaxed and casual, and kind of almost lazy. And he kind of goes, "Yeah, oh, hey, there are two of you. I was hoping to catch up with at least one of you today. That's okay. So, yeah, kind of figured you might have some questions about what went on Saturday with everything. And by the
Oh,
way,
a few, yeah, a few.
you know, thank you for keeping it calm and quiet there, because yeah, you really don't want to rile up.
It was fun.
She gets, she's kind of set in her ways. Happens when you get old, I guess.
Hmm.
So I thought I'd, kind of, you've been coming to my side of town, so I thought I'd kind of slip through your side. Not that it's very many blocks. I mean,
Nope.
it's a short
Uh,
saunter down, but
yeah.
yeah, a quick little, drop by to anything that I can do to.
Hmm.
Are they Wuchi evil? Are they like bad guys?
What?
How do you define evil or
Okay,
bad guys or stuff? I mean, to some people we are the bad guys, and to some people we are the good guys. So hard to say.
Well, how about this? If we go to like honor Auntie Hinode's promise, will they like be okay with that, or will they just try to eat us?
Oh yeah, no. There won't be. Yeah, you're not gonna like disappear into the underworld or any stuff like that. Yeah, no. It's a deal made is a deal made. So I mean, if you go and say that you're taking care of Auntie Hinode's side of the the bargain to balance everything out, then yeah, they'll accept that.
Hmm. Well, because I was trying to, do research, just because I didn't have opportunity at the time to ask you, but so maybe you could excuse me, give some info of who or what are the Wu Tian?
Oh, now uh, that's kind of a big ask, but
I mean, I don't need to know trade secrets or anything. I'm just like,
and
I,
he kind of, yeah, grabs a chair and spins it around and then sits on it backwards. Uh, and he says, "Okay, so Wu Tian are the eight immortals. They're of the family of heaven. So one of them resides here in old Chinatown, like not our Chinatown, kind of underneath Old City Hall area, sort of where Chinatown used to be before they plowed it all under and built City Hall and all the stuff around it."
sorry, you just said one of the eight immortals,
Yeah.
and one of them lives under City Hall.
Well, yeah, right now. I mean, he's been other places and stuff when he's not been dead, from what I understand. A lot of it's murky for us too. You know, a lot of it's kind of couched in mythology and legend, and trying to separate the fact from the fiction can be a little tricky around the edges. But the immortals have been fighting against the Yama Kings, which are kind of the demons.
Ah,
So, you know, that tends to be their purpose, though there's a lot of other stuff in there as well. And I believe right now he's, I don't know whether he's yang side or yin side, really. Yeah, Hitoshi might know. Auntie Hinode would know, but she doesn't, you know, the things she does, she doesn't share with the rest of us. And she sure as heck isn't going to talk to me about it. I mean, even if I'm a noble and she's a commoner, she doesn't have a lot of diplomatic skills. You know, Hitoshi can kind of get her to pay attention because you know, he's a messenger of the fire gods, so she pays attention to that. And she likes Haruki too. So I mean, you know, she'll talk to him, but I swear she's just filling that kid's head with all sorts of weird, cottony strangeness.
Lily is taking furious notes while he is talking. Okay. So
So yeah, Auntie Hinode is Hirayanu, but she's a metal Hirayanu. And you know, I might be Kemoi, but I'm kind of, you know, I'm wood aspect, metal and wood. That's why we took along Hitoshi, who, yeah, he just stood there being quiet, but that really says a lot to Annie. You know?
So if we take this and we failed, are we gonna die?
What kind of people do you think we are?
we don't know. That's the problem.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
new at this.
No. Like I said, there won't be any disappearing you into the underworld or you know, anything like that. I mean, you'll go and you'll chat with Odoro and you know,
Because
we'll
so
see
far,
where
like
it goes from there.
what you're telling me is that like, oof, I can understand why you were initially reluctant, because this is, to me, seems heavy information, even as much as you have said.
Okay.
But
Yeah, we kind of start into this stuff when we're young, so even though there are still days that, you know, I wake up, look in the mirror and think, what the heck, Jimmy?
It's quite fun. It's just a little bit weird, and most of us are new to this, so we don't have many
Okay. So
points
you
of
it's
guys don't,
reference.
you're not like raised with it right from fresh day one. You're born and you're fed this stuff so that you know your celestial destiny.
no, and a
Yeah.
lot of times we spend years having absolutely no idea until it sort of suddenly dawns on us like a sledgehammer from the sky.
Wow. That kind of, you know, I can see the benefits to that. I can see the downside to that too. Kind of rocks, kind of sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, gosh, one of our motley only barely just woke up like that,
Oh, wow.
and she well, her and Hunter, the tall one.
Oh, yeah, the big one.
Yeah, both of them prior to, basically me and us explaining, they thought they were crazy, that they were crazy. Like,
Yeah, I got you there. I mean, try to explain this to any, you know, any kind of looks over his shoulders really quick. Try to explain this to any human, you know,
yeah,
and they'll lock you up. But it
yeah,
still would have been cool not to be like, you know, a representative of the celestial Hao Chi from the start. That would have made my childhood a whole lot more like a childhood.
Mm,
But you take what hand you're dealt sometimes. Everyone's flowing down the same river. It's just if you can kind of paddle to one side or the other a bit.
mm. Okay. Well, no, I'm still thinking how I was before Fagua, is that I am leaning towards yes. And you are leaning towards yes. And Rosaline has said she will do whatever is needed. And it's just the other two that's left.
Okay. So Jimmy kind of looks around and says, "Have you got a pen?"
Oh, yeah, sure. And hands on the one I was using.
Okay. So he takes a pen and he takes a scrap of paper and he scribbles down a cell phone number.
I already have that.
Did you?
We
Oh.
exchanged numbers so I could like text him for the restaurant meetup.
Yep. Nope. Storyteller brain. Okay. Yep. No, you're correct. So okay. Instead, skip the pen.
Okay.
We'll just rewind that for a moment. He says, "Okay, so give me a shout in the next couple of days when you're firm, you're good on this, and because I'm pretty sure I know what Eddie Hanodi did, but I don't have that yin chi. Only she can undo what she wove. So
Yeah.
otherwise, I'd say Hitoshi and I'll take care of it. But no, there's no doing that. So
Yeah.
once you let us know, I'll make sure one of us that arranges the meet, so
Mm.
that you're not meeting somebody else all over again, and then we'll kind of connect you all up and go from there.
Alrighty. Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
Anyways, I got to get back to my uncle's shop. I'm supposed to be watching it this afternoon.
oh gosh, yeah. But I appreciate that you came by.
Well, I kind of figured, in person would be a whole lot easier and better than doing it over the phone.
True. Yeah.
Okay,
All
excellent.
right. Cool.
You,
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
okay,
talk to you later.
okay.
Yep. Bye.
Great day.
You too.
And he kind of gets up and slides on out.
Holy muffins.
You said celestial, and I didn't know there was like angel us kind of thing. So now I want to meet this person more.
Well, based off of a lot of the words he was saying, it makes me think that because, I mean, I collect stories and some of those are, well, from Asia and they're folk and fairy tales type of things. And this sounds like that some of that is less tales and more real than I ever thought.
Yeah, and that's really cool. It's like living on XXX holic kind of thing, where there's like good spirits, bad spirits.
On a what?
Holic. It's an Asian TV show, but it's about like Japanese traditions about spirits and stuff.
What is it called?
XXX holic.
H-O. Alrighty, I'm gonna look that up because I need to know more things.
Not a sponsor, but
I do.
But
I do need to know more things.
Clamp, if you want to sponsor us. I think there's only one left.
Wow. Okay. So wild. Lily is going to get back into the group texting thing and say that just had illuminating conversation with Jimmy. Fagua and I are pretty much yeses. And Rosaline already said she, is cool with what we need to do. So that just leaves the guys to chime in.
You get a text back that says, refer to above statement. Scary old lady owing favor to scary thing. Bad idea.
Everything we do is a bad idea.
Texting dot, delete, delete, delete. Texting dot, delete, delete, delete. There's bad
find
ideas.
her
There's bad
scary?
ideas. There's feeding ourselves to things.
You find her scary and not me.
All caps, yes.
Can you give me till 1 o'clock, and then I'll stop by.
Sure.
And he goes back to bed.
Okay, so we will drift away from the library, allow you two to just kind of hang out at the library and wrap some stuff up. Rosaline, what are you doing Monday morning?
Rosaline probably lay in bed for a bit too long, wondering what her life has become and how in the heck she's going to help all these people. She might do some networking for her modeling gigs, pay a few bills, and then she might make her way to the library, or not the library,
Okay,
the hospital for volunteering.
okay. Before you leave, you can pretty much do the networking and bill paying and everything via, on your mobile if you like. But while you're head down over the phone, kind of starting into your day, you hear a loud at your door. That was not a good knock. Hang on. Ah. It is a loud, sharp knocking at your door.
I'll take my time and look through the peephole.
You look through the peephole and you can see the top of somebody's head. It's whoever they are, they're short and their hair is white.
I'll just open the door crack and whisper, "Who is it?"
You open the door and you can see Auntie Hinode standing there in front of your door. She's wearing a white kind of pantsuit, only with a cardigan rather than a jacket on top of it, and has a paper bag kind of clutched in her hands. Her purse is over the side. And when the door opens a crack, she kind of turns towards that crack. One brow goes up and she says, "So you're going to stare at me suspiciously and not invite me in. Is this what you call hospitality?"
My apologies. She'll open the door.
And she kind of lifts the bag a little bit, says, "I even brought dorayaki." And she bustles right into your apartment, just walks right past you and heads towards your kitchen as if she had been there before and knows where your kitchen is.
Excuse the mess. Sorry.
And as she walks into the kitchen, she just kind of waves a hand and goes, "Oh, tut, tut, child. This is nothing. I have grown up in war zones." And you can hear the clattering and cluttering in the kitchen. And from the kitchen, it's not even a proper kettle. I have to use a pot. Oh, what? Okay. I am disappointed in you, child.
I have a kettle somewhere. I'll dig it up.
She's already got a pot of water boiling on the stove and two mismatched coffee mugs.
What brings you here?
And she says, well, I wanted to make sure that the people I am sending to take care of things are adept at taking care of things. That, and you have some things following you that you really need to deal with.
Can't be dealt with.
I did not appreciate you bringing them into my space. So I thought I would come and visit your space. I just didn't bring any of my spirits with me.
I can't get rid of them. Some sort of curse, possibly.
At which point there's enough bubbling going on that she pours the water from the pots carefully into the two mugs, and then adds a couple of pinches of what look like green tea leaves. Opens up your cupboard, pulls out a plate, puts down, reaches into the paper bag, puts out some fantastic looking sweets. Dorayaki are just beautiful little round, just made with red bean paste and just fantastic. And as the tea steeps, she picks up the plate and she says, okay, bring the tea. And she walks past you again, back into your living.
I'll pick up the plate and the tea, kind of follow her.
And she kind of stops and moves a few things, brushes off a bit of some couch space and sits down. And she says, it's a wonder that the spirits don't get confused and trapped here. I mean, this is a maze of memories and yet so little of it.
I'm speechless. Thank you for the treats.
And she says, that is okay. Speechless is good. Listening, well, you were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you can do the math, yes. And she takes the tea and sips it and goes, well, not my best, but acceptable.
This is the best tea I've ever had. Thank you.
She says, you're welcome. Now, there are always ways to get rid of spirits. You might just have to make some deals with some people in order to do so. I talk with spirits all the time, but I'm not going to talk with yours. They are your spirits. They are your responsibility, and I really don't like a couple of them.
Best that you don't interact with some of them. I'd hate for anything bad to happen.
And
She'll
she
just
kind of
look.
and she kind of chuckles a little bit and hides her smile behind the mug as she takes a sip. And then she says, child, what makes you think I would be the one the bad things would be happening to?
Everyone that interacts with me suffers. She'll just keep staring.
And one brow goes up a little bit. And she says, and I am not everyone. Now, the first thing you need to do to put spirits to rest is to listen to them. And once you understand what they are telling you, you can answer them. And if that doesn't put them to rest, oh, Auntie Hinode knows a few very excellent rituals to make sure that they do not come bothering your door again.
We can give it a shot. I've been helping spirits since I was a young girl. Some of them linger.
Oh, they always do. Once they know that they have an ear that can hear them, or a heart that is invested, then that's when you have spirit problems and they stick around.
Some of
So
them are
what
an unhealthy attachment.
what you will do is, are there any other of your kind in this city to teach you and help you?
I just learned what my kind was a couple days ago.
Oh, you are a child. Okay. Take the next let's say the next 2 moon phases. So, well, the next 2 full moons, to see if you can find someone of your own in the city to help you. And if you can't, then you know where to find them at the bamboo leaves. And she puts the mug down. It's now empty of tea. And she gets up and she says, and I would appreciate if you come to request my help before we discuss it. You bring a little gift of some sort for the ancestors. They would very much appreciate it. But now I have to go. Bingo in the church is not going to run without me. If I am not seated there with my cards, they don't dare start spinning the little tumbler. And she heads towards the door.
Thank you.
And she stops with her hand on the knob at the door and kind of turns and gives you a look. And she says, I'm not sure you should thank me yet, but I will state that you are welcome to this point. We will see where the journey takes us from here. But you be careful of all your little group. You take particular care.
She'll kind of just like bow her head a little. I really appreciate that.
And she opens the door and says, you're learning. You're quick. That's good. And she steps out into the hallway and the door closes.
She's a bit nicer than my grandma. I'll clean up the plates.
Okay, and then the rest of your day will progress as is normal with doing things. You will, the rest of your day, the usual illusions and such which you are used to, the feeling of spirits being around you, the general kind of feel is, it's a better than usual day for you. You know, there are still things there. There's still things you see and still things happening, but they're not to as great a frequency as you're used to.
That's surprising. I thought that talk would upset him. But I am glad you are all at peace.
I don't know if I say the feeling is that they're at peace, but they're a little less rambunctious than usual. Okay, now before we get to actually mid-afternoon, so Rosaline is off to the hospital, Volodymyr is at work, and Hunter was getting up about 1 o'clock and
Ish.
planning to do something. So let's roll with Hunter. It's about 1 o'clock. It's early afternoon on the Monday.
He gets up. He's a regimented individual. He's diligent with routine. He eats like a rabbit. He's got things in his Tupperware containers in the fridge. He does his squats, shit, shower, shave, out the door, ready to head to the hospital. Right before he leaves, he takes off. He's like, be there in 20 minutes. You know how traffic is.
Okay, so you're going to work at the hospital?
I am going to see the members of the Motley I can find at the hospital. My shift doesn't normally start until evenings, so.
Okay. So Zeb would be working at the hospital right now, but he's working. Lily would be at the library until end of work day. Rosaline and Fogwell would be kind of available, sort of after a fashion.
I would head in and I'd have access to the security office, so I'd be able to see who badged in, who badged out, what time. So, since
You monster.
that's part of the job, so I would head to to library to see if I can talk to Lily.
And actually, if you want, Fagua could still be at the library. So the two of you could still be hanging out in the kind of quiet room when Hunter shows up.
Afternoon, ladies.
Oh, hey, Hunter.
How are we today?
Humming with curiosity.
Hmm.
Yes.
It's been interesting.
Any particular reason why besides outstanding text messages? Forgive me, I'm kind of cranky when I don't catch at least 6 hours.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, because you work evenings, night times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry that I woke you up,
It's okay.
but yeah, because Jimmy, the one that we met in Chinatown and like helped us do all the
I remember James.
yes, yes. Well, he came by here and we were able to ask him some questions about who is it that Auntie Hinode made a deal with, and I basically asked, who or what are they, and I mean, I'm gonna have to. This is gonna send me off into more research, but um, it seems that some of the stories of in from China and so on of celestial, the heavenly court and celestial beings and messengers from humans to them and so on, and so at least some of that might be based on reality, like real stuff.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I've been in a room with something that doesn't have any legs, something that can create things that explode on impact out of thin air, basically. Someone with amazing hair. Someone who is quite more knowledgeable than any human I've ever met. Someone that could barely fit into doorways. So this really doesn't surprise me in the very least.
It's less surprise and more how much I don't, because I tried to do my own research even before he came over, like, because we didn't even know he was going to. He just showed up. Like, I'm here because I work here, and Fagua showed up to, talk with me, and then Jimmy just was like, poof, here I am. But it's just because our folk don't seem to talk about their folk much. So it's this whole kind of mystery sort of thing, and leaving, well, who are they, what are they, and all that kind of stuff. Because, like, from what I understood from Jimmy, they know what they are pretty much immediately.
Seems convenient.
Yeah, so like they don't have the whole confusion beforehand. They don't have the whole chrysalis thing, that none of that. They just like, poof, here's a baby, and they like know stuff. So that's pretty wild.
So I went to bed
Yes.
and I've been thinking about this decision that has been idling over our heads ever since we left the leaves. And from what I've learned so far from your former group and our current group, and forgive me if I describe them in two different aspects, because I don't feel the group that we have are the bluebirds that you came up with. I feel it's a different formula altogether, and things need to come at a different perspective when it comes to solving problems. I feel beforehand you guys were a unit that was kind of like Scooby Doo, and you did your research, you hit your problem, and then you got to the next step, and it turned into two. And then you got to the two, and it split off to four. And that's just the image I caught. My type of mentality from my former occupation and this occupation and how I live my life is I seek out problems like being a hammer and the problems are nails. Now, I like to take care of problems. So when I heard the proposition given to us, it seemed like our problems were just going to multiply again. So the solution I had, which I'm all about helping because I can tell the type of person you are, and from talking to the former Bluebirds before they unfortunately had to take off, I know the raccoons meant a lot to you guys. And I really,
Well, it is, I mean, it is that there is, you know, emotions and sentimentality,
yes,
but it is also still important that they not turn into teapots where
absolutely,
regular people can see them.
absolutely,
As you know, would, because like I said, if I was been here a while, we've been talking, and it's like, well, the thing is that if regular people start seeing raccoons turning into teapots, they're going to start
absolutely, yeah,
asking questions, and those questions might eventually lead to us, and we cannot be having that. That is a
I
big,
wholeheartedly
big
agree.
super no.
And I know that specifically you two are really into seeking out information. So the solution I had, since I'm used to doing investigations, is instead of us, you can compare it to bending the knee to perform another favor, which could end up stacking into something else. Why don't we give them a counter offer? And the counter offer I was going to offer them is this puts us in a position where I keep wanting to call it your court, but I guess it's really our court, really doesn't know a lot about these individuals.
Well,
And
we're a motley, us.
I mean, beyond us being a motley, like our faction is separate from theirs in Chinatown. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, they
Okay.
seem to run rather differently than, yeah, I mean, I realize we've only been, did we only go to court once, storyteller? Just the once?
With this current Motley, yes.
Yes. Yeah, okay. It's rough keeping track. But yeah, I mean, we've only been to court once, so that's not really enough for any of you kind of new people to get a sense of how things work. But my general sense is that they run separately under their own rules and hierarchy and guidance. So
Yeah, I can only
yeah,
go off of my first impressions, of course, but
right.
this puts us in a very unique position that we can be a bridge between these two factions. And instead of us being put on the pedestal of having to solve other people's issues, this could put us in a position where people can come to us instead in certain situations. So we don't have to be the whipping boys of solving other people's problems constantly.
Do you
So
mean offering to act as go-betweens between them and our court?
it might help our situation, and it might put us in a position where we can solve more problems in the future.
I mean, because this is somewhat going along with what I had been thinking. I hadn't said any of it out loud yet, but I had thought of, you know, because there's this, y- you know, kind of disconnect between them, and also because, well, even when we, you know, first met Jimmy or whatever, and he started talking about something that happened in the 1960s, it's like that was a while ago. Haven't you guys don't you guys talk anymore? Like,
So the idea I had, which it seems like you're kind of on the route, is I work per diem at the hospital. So I'm not 100% full time over there. It seems they do have a disconnect with society. Perhaps a couple of us can perform jobs for them outside of the realm of the motley in order to bridge our relationships. Like, for example, I can offer security or investigation purposes for them um, on an ulterior per diem basis. And I'm sure other people have skills that they can apply to their services instead of us having to solve another problem that multiplies onto another quest and another quest and another quest. So again, I think the bridging idea, instead of us just saying, all right, we're gonna do this for you, and XYZ is gonna lead to 1, 2, 3 is gonna lead to ABC with a never-ending story. You know what I mean? So I think we can make
yeah,
a real impact with these people.
I liked that book though. Anyway,
It is a fantastic book. It's just an idea. Again,
yeah, no,
I
this,
know that you are really trying not only to help all these other individuals, but I appreciate the fact that you're trying to help some of us too, as far as looking into our histories and stuff. And I really want to help out how I can, but at the same time, I don't want us seeming like we're getting taken advantage of anymore. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because that is part of my, you can call it, to protecting you guys. So that's my 2 cents.
oh, that's some pretty good 2 cents. What do you think, Fagwa?
I really want to meet the celestial messenger people person.
Well, yeah, me too, but I meant like
But
what he was.
but I think it's a good idea, but that depends on their will to connect. And not that I'm an expert on the topic, but Japanese people are not the most eager to connect with others outside their community kind of thing.
We can only
They're
try,
usually,
you know?
yeah, they're usually pretty self-sufficient, like in general. Um, and also they may say they don't yet trust us because we just showed up and we're not like we don't really have contacts on our side either. Like as far as I know, we were zero important in our court kind
I
of
thought
thing.
about that. And if that was true, they would have sent somebody else long before us. And on the opposite side, Jimmy didn't have to trust us for shit.
Yeah, or maybe we are so unimportant they sent us to deal the issue of the raccoons instead of dealing with other issues of like more complexity, like what Aled is doing right now, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, the other thing, because like what Hunter was talking about of, old crew versus new crew, is that several of you guys don't know yet all of the things that you can do.
Yeah.
So saying, oh, well, we just got sent to do a little job. It's like, well, I would be really concerned for us if we got sent on a too big kind of job. Like
Yeah.
that would be scary.
No, yeah, and I don't mind. Like, I'm not saying it from like my perspective, but like from their perspective.
Oh,
Like, what can we offer about like connection wise or like, strategic wise if we don't have those resources ourselves?
Well, we currently have a voice that they don't have in court.
But
yeah.
is that voice gonna be heard? Like, I think that that's gonna be their concern. I'm not saying that that's our concern.
They
but,
don't know
like,
that.
Well,
do
I
they?
mean, I
But
think
do
because
they?
I
We
think
don't know
because
that.
nobody is talking to them as far as we know,
Yeah.
that anybody who is claiming to talk for them would get some attention.
Like, the Baron knew about them, so the Baron probably knows people that knows them and has some idea of them, and they probably have something like
Yeah,
that
but if you
for
think about
us.
it, he just like said, "Hey, go like hang out in Chinatown." Like he didn't have, have anybody specific to send us to, or any specific like, "Hey, go to, that grocery market or go to that restaurant." Like it was all very kind of, I mean, because of it sounded like there had been some kind of adversarial kind of stuff. They might just be keeping tabs to know that they're over there and not doing anything that's interfering with what we/the court want, kind of thing.
Like I said, I'm down to help out. It's just a suggestion. I just don't want to see us getting sucked into like 6 different directions attempting to solve so many things that we eventually get overwhelmed. And like
Right.
Lily just
I
put,
support that.
we're not in a position yet where we fully understand each other, let alone possible warring actions over decades, you know?
Yeah.
So that's all.
Well, I'm thinking, because it sounds like the three of us are now like, yeah, we kind of want to see where this goes. But I'm thinking, because rather than saying one or the other, as far as like, hey, we're gonna take over Auntie Hinode as promised, or hey, we have this other idea, laid out a bit more broadly as like, we were having like okay, we were initially sent, this is what we were doing, this is what we're willing to do if that's all you'll take. But we do have another idea, and see if they will even listen.
Well, that's the other thing too. I don't know these people. And
I
I
don't
don't
either.
know if we can trust them after we complete this task, you know? And I don't know if that's going to put us in a position that's going to, A, screw us over, because I'm not looking to get whacked. And B, when we go back to court, if this is going to put us in a poor position because of a decision that we made off of this faction. So, at
Well, I mean, like because like Fagwa said, the Baron did know about them and said, hey, maybe look over there. Now, I'd like to think that he would be able to at least somewhat extrapolate out what that would mean. That we would talk to people, we would meet these people, and that some kind of deal might end up being struck in order to get our resolution.
I don't know how much you know about a Baron or people that know the Baron. Have you gotten an impression that he's an honorable individual?
Storyteller.
Or possible things you heard in court or whatever, since you are our eldest?
So you had met the Baroness.
Right, because that's the thing, is we hadn't,
Yep.
we have met the Baron once.
No, because
No.
there is no Baron.
Ugh,
You've met
we
the
keep
Baron.
keep
No.
using the
I'm
wrong
sorry.
titles.
Yeah, no,
The
that's
Duke?
okay. That's okay. You've met the
Duke?
Baroness, Dana Holmschmidt. But yes, on your last visit to court, you met the Duke. Hang on a second, because yeah, Duke Stephen Brunswick. and you were introduced to Count Angus Byrne.
Retract. Baron. Insert Duke.
Yeah, there was a ton
That's
of.
who I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
Retcon.
Just
Now again,
storyteller,
from
just the last, because you said the Duke, Stephen Brunswick, and
and Count
Count
Angus Byrne.
Angus.
Now you're going to know that as hierarchy goes, it's knight, it's well, actually squire, knight, baron, count, duke. So Duke Brunswick is responsible for the duchy of White Trillium, which is all of Ontario.
Okay.
However, Lily, you're going to know from what you've heard and what you've seen so far that he doesn't like spending time outside of his home in Niagara area. He's not what you would call a micromanaging Duke. He does things from his office afar for the most part through intermediaries. And since the Baroness has left Toronto at the last court, from what you understand, he was installing Duke Byrne to
Or
represent him.
Count Angus.
Or yeah, sorry, yeah, Count Byrne to represent him in Toronto and handle all the Toronto stuff.
Okay.
Count Byrne, you just met at the last court, so
Right. And just to ask again, so it's Duke, Baron, and then Count, or is it do I have it mixed
now
up?
Baron is, and then Count is up next up, and then Duke is at the top, and then above Duke is King.
Okay. Duke,
And who knows where
Count,
King David is right now?
Baron. So King, Duke, Count, Baron. So we were
Yeah.
initially dealing with the lower of this
Yes.
these four. Um,
I think the worst that can happen is that they say no thanks.
yeah, well, the thing is, even if we go and say, hey, we would like to try and to the Wu Qian, you know, try and set up something as being intermediaries, you know, we would have to be transparent with them that we don't know what sort of answer we might get, but we would try our best. Now, whether that's enough for them, we won't know until we ask.
We could try.
Can. And I think it would be worth the trying. Doing.
Have you spoken to anybody else yet?
Well, so far we only got, because yeah, we started in the group text, so Rosaline just said that she's willing to do whatever's necessary, and then Volodymyr is scared of everything.
Well,
From a lot of things.
I have a feeling he's going to tag along regardless. But
He'll probably just be behind you.
yeah, but he's proving his worth. He's not somebody that I'm looking to write up on a consecutive basis anymore.
Improvement.
For now, he still hasn't smashed up my car, so that's a plus.
What? Didn't he promise not to? Didn't he swear all fancy?
He promises a lot of things. He promises all
Yeah.
his things are gonna work.
Well,
Yeah. Let's leave it at that.
anyways.
I think that's a good game plan, unless you ladies have any other options or anything else. We can wait until we are able to speak with everybody else to reconvene, and then
Yeah, well,
we'll go
I mean,
from there.
it's only Monday, and
Yeah.
Jimmy said, you know, take a couple of days to think about it, so there's not like a rush to, you know, quick, hard and fast kind of thing. So, And well, Thursday is coming. So, and then we will meet in the freehold.
Thursday is coming.
Yes.
Somebody should probably turn that into a t-shirt.
Thursday is coming.
Yes.
Buy our merch. Wait, we don't have merch. Vancouver
We
by
do.
Night has merch. Buy their
Yeah.
merch.
Yet.
Yeah, yeah.
will
We will
have
have
merch.
merch. We will have.
Big things.
Okay. So
Yes.
leaving you people in the library, Hunter will end up going to work. Fagua and Lily will end up wrapping up their day. We're going to pay attention to Vladimir now. When you are done your workday and you go home,
Yes.
you return to your home, you do your little ritual of knocking and unlocking locks. And when you enter the hallway, you hear noises from the kitchen down the hallway. The clattering of spoons against bowls. Sounds like there's a bit of a party going on. People talking, there's some laughter.
Okay. Volodymyr is going to take his tool bag, off his shoulder.
Mhm.
It's a little heavier. It's a tiny bit heavier because he has taken a couple things.
Well, it happens.
They're small. He's taking some small things for a device he's planning to build, and he's just going to drop it aggressively by the door.
Okay. There is no change in the sounds from the kitchen.
Just stalks forward, just grumbling and
Okay. As you come into the kitchen, at the kitchen table, first of all, the middle of the kitchen table is kind of mounted with parts, including several light bulbs that have a very purplish hue to them. Seated at the kitchen table, which also has a couple of bowls at it, seated at the kitchen table on one side is the somewhat familiar form of or figure of your cousin, Larry. Sitting across from him is Haruki. They are both finishing up cereal. And as you walk in, your golem turns to you and is holding in his hands, in two of his hands, a box of Lucky Charms and a box of tricks. And he looks at you and says, "Ah, friend Vladimir, the cereal is finished. Finito. We need more." And that's where we're going to stop for a break, because it's about that time to hydrate. And you know, I just love breaking when I hand Vladimir a very interesting scenario to give him a little time to kind of wind up and wind back down again. And so go hydrate, dehydrate, rehydrate, whatever you're doing with hydration. Come back in about 5 to 7 minutes. We'll be here. Grab yourself some snacks, settle in. We'll see what fun is going to happen at Casa del Vladimir. And we'll see you all in a few minutes, folks.
Paint your sky in phthalo blue and alizarin crimson, swirls of cadmium yellow, sienna and vermilion. Make it any way you want, 'cause it's your world in the end. Paint yourself a little tree and give it a little friend. Pick the colors that you like, held together on your brush. If you don't like it, you can try again, there is no rush. You don't need to justify, you got nothing to night sky. Add some white and burnt umber and give your world highlights. You're the creator of this world. Find your freedom on its canvas. Make a small room of your own, or dream up entire planets. You can do what you want. Just make it passionate. There are no mistakes, just happy accidents. Just use your imagination any way you please. This is your creation, so build it as you see. Seek out new sensations, or sail the seven seas. You're the only one to be a happy little tree. We're all happy little trees. While we're swaying in the breeze, we're all happy little trees. I'm not saying it'll always be simple. I'm not saying it's a life of ease. I'm not saying everybody will love you, or that you won't make enemies. I'm not saying that it's all a party while we're swaying in the breeze. I'm not saying it'll all be chocolate and cheese, but we're all happy little trees. We're all happy little trees. While we're swaying in the breeze, we're all happy little trees. Paint your sky in phthalo blue and alizarin crimson, swirls of cadmium yellow, sienna and vermilion. Make it any way you want, 'cause it's your world in the end. Paint yourself a little tree and give it a little friend. Pick the colors that you like, held together on your brush. If you don't like it, you can try again. There is no rush. You don't need to justify. You got nothing to defend. Know that there is nothing wrong with having a tree as a friend.
Welcome back, folks, and hi there. For those of you who are just catching up with us during the second half after the break, we hope you've all brought back your favorite drinks and snacks, because it's been good and it's about to continue being good. Yeah, we'll use the word good. We've had some discussion going down at the library. Some people have been chatting about things. Rosaline had a visit from Auntie Hanodi. And now Volodymyr has got home to find out that there's a kitchen party going on in his kitchen with his cousin Larry, his created creature, his interestingly shaped golem, and Haruki, the very slender, very androgynous, gorgeously betressed fantastic hair on this kid. Youngling that they kind of met in passing in Chinatown just a few days ago at this point. And Vladimir is just kind of stomped into the kitchen, obviously wondering what the hell is going on in this house. That all this noise is happening, and to find a kitchen table heaped with parts and interesting things, including some very interesting looking light bulbs, and Larry and Haruki having bowls of, looks like they're finishing off cereal, and his golem holding up a box of Lucky Charms and a box of tricks. And it's just informed him that they are out of cereal. It is finito, fertig, done, empty.
Well, I am
And the
not
other
getting more
two look
today.
up, and Larry goes, "Hey, Volo,
Larry,
how you doing? I brought you stuff,
I noticed. I see a big pile of stuff.
including, I heard you were looking, yeah, I overheard you talking at one point, 4 of the latest UV light bulbs." And he taps the 4 kind of purplish looking bulbs.
Volodimir's irritation instantly vanishes.
And Haruki has one last mouthful of cereal, and then kind of puts his bowl down, and he stands up and he kind of bows towards you, and then he sits back down again.
Kind of not just nods to him, looks back at Larry. State the art ultraviolet bulbs.
Yeah, I got him on a deal. Yeah, on special.
I do not need to be knowing where you got them. I don't
Good.
need to know. I don't
Okay.
care. Good is good. Your name is going on the list of contributing inventors.
And he kind of does that. Yeah. And he
Which
kind of
means-
leans halfway over the table towards Haruki and goes, "I deserve that, because without me, this guy be nowhere."
Which means if this does not work, is also touching on you.
He says, "I'm just a contributor. I'm just bringing parts. If it doesn't
Contributing-
work,"
if it does not work, I am blaming the parts. My inventions work.
your inventions are hit and miss, and I'd say missing more than hitting. You're swinging like a rookie.
At least I make things that do more than destroy things.
Well, there is creation in destruction, don't you know?
There is
When you blow up
creation
a
in the
building,
first
you have
part.
created a parking lot. And at the premium that parking is in this city,
No. When you destroy a building, what you have done is given a shitload of work to people like me who have to clean up your shit in order to then build that parking lot.
and he just beams a huge smile and goes, "Exactly. I keep people employed."
Keep a straight face. Keep a straight face.
And Haruki is just kind of going back and forth watching the two of you.
So you came in, brought 4 light bulbs and a bunch of other things that I don't know what they are yet, but I will be figuring that out.
Oh, yeah. And you got the catalytic converters we got for you, right?
Yes, and I have salvaged the parts I need for the next stage of my invention using those.
Excellent. We didn't have to go far for the catalytic converters. I
Yeah,
mean, just
about
kinda,
that. About
you know,
that.
what?
A request.
Okay.
Small request. The next time I ask you to source me a part.
Yeah.
Can you not do it within a 2-block radius?
Oh, I can't promise that. I mean, what if the part is sitting right out
It's a
front?
request. Think about it this way.
And
Think about it
it's
this
the
way.
only part in the city.
I guarantee it isn't. Think about it this way, cousin. If I was going to ask, if I was If I was going to ask for something easy, I would do it myself.
Oh. So that means no more griping when we borrow your cereal, because what we do is valuable to. I got it. Okay. So next grocery run, Captain Crunch would be like awesome. You know, I like the little marshmallows, but
no.
Captain
You are
Crunch.
asking for more expensive cereals.
Yeah, but what we do is valuable. So
When I start getting paid more money, I will buy more expensive cereal. Because cereal is just for you guys. I don't eat it. I don't like it. I hate this stuff. So money I spend on your cereal is money I can't spend on feeding myself or paying my own bills. So I need to make more money.
you
If
gotta
want.
pay bills? What's wrong with you?
I don't live in dreaming.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't pay bills. Do you know how many empty apartments there are in this city?
No, actually, I'm not knowing.
Do you know how many bridges there are with spaces underneath? How many interesting underground utility rooms there are with cots
Underground?
and comfortable?
Did you say
Okay,
underground?
there are some other types that kind of get in there too, that they have a bit of a bite to them, you know, but
Volodymyr just grins.
but you know, as long as you're willing to, you know,
Wait,
fight a little bit for your
wait.
territory, yeah,
Cousin,
there's some
are
good
you-
utility places.
Are you telling me that you haven't designed devices to defend your little underground
Of
places to
course,
sleep?
of course. I'm just letting you know that you got to do that, because otherwise these, you know, people can kind of come in and
An
get pushy with
opportunity
things.
to
and-
make more inventions?
Oh, exactly. You know, and mine always work. By you, I mean my space down there is always secure, always.
I bet you
Yeah.
have a forge too.
I might have one that I borrow from time to time. Yeah.
Look at you, aren't you so fancy?
Well,
Rookie, kid.
and Haruki says, "Hi, it's good to see you again. I was kind of curious about, you know, things, so I tend to find stuff like people, so I thought I would find you. And I met your cousin Lawrence here, who's a really interesting person, just like you.
Lawrence.
And and he kind of points at the golem. I'm not sure what this is or what kind of temple I would put it in front of, but it
No temple.
talks, and it's pretty awesome."
No temple.
And your golem kind of, the eyes spin 2 or 3 times, and it says, "Thank you, Haruki-san. You are pretty awesome too."
I am not having drone to build for you yet.
And Haruki says, that's fine. It's like not like there's a rush. You know, I was just curious. I get bored hanging out with, you know, grandma all the time, and a lot of the others really don't like me hanging around.
You have
They-
a lot in common with my cousins.
Okay, I'll take that as a compliment, sure. And Larry says, "Damn, Skippy."
Speaking of which, Larry, are you the only cousin here right now?
And Larry says, "Yeah, maybe."
Volodymyr is going to check the cupboards.
Okay. And Haruki gets a very quizzical look on his face as you start going through the cupboards. And give me a second.
I love my cousins. I love my cousins. No, I do not. They do not give me anxiety. No, they don't.
And no, there are no cousins in the cupboards at this time.
Okay. What I'm going to do, Larry, I like
Yeah.
you. You bring me good parts.
That's great, Vladimir. I like you too.
You
Your
have
family.
not- we are family. That does not mean you have earned entry into my workshop yet.
Sure.
Turns to look at the golem. That's a hard rule. No cousins in the workshop.
And the golem says, "Si, comprende. I understand. Yes."
Thank you. Looks back at Larry. He'll enforce that rule.
I'm sure he will.
So you don't get to see what happens next because you're the one who first let yourself into my apartment. Haruki, do not, do not tell your family.
Well, like they would listen anyways. I mean,
Good.
they don't hear me when I'm talking with them half the time. So
Volodimir's gonna go pick up his work bag, take the parts, except for the light bulbs. He's gonna shuffle all the other parts into the work bag, pick up the light bulbs and tuck them very carefully into his arm. Pat Larry on the shoulder like his cousin is radioactive. I will buy more cereal.
and Larry says, "Good, because you always have the best hospitality, and there are expectations, there are standards.
Mm.
If you're going to keep meeting them, you want to keep that 5-star rating."
Yeah, yes I do. If I want the good parts. Oh, come on, kid. I'm just gonna walk into the workshop and I'm going to start building a thing involving those catalytic converters.
Okay. And Haruki gets up. They're kind of dressed in just kind of gray slacks, black leather slip-ons, kind of a black and white check shirt that cuffs rolled up, kind of a what do you call that stuff? That poly felt kind of.
No, I was about to say
Paste, you mean?
polyethylene.
So clothing, vest, not a down vest, kind of a poly.
Yeah, that kind of
Fleece?
goofy
Fleece, that's it.
Oh,
A
yeah.
fleece vest.
polyester.
Yeah, polyester fleece vest. And they get up and they follow you into the work. They have this nonchalant glide as they walk.
Yeah.
That kind of just slides over the floor and follows in the workshop, and the eyes widen, and they're suddenly everywhere in the workshop, touching things, picking stuff up, going, "What's this? Oh, wait, hey, over. Okay, this is cool. Okay, what do you do with it now? Okay, now is this a part or is this finished?" And then they are literally, it's almost like you're watching someone bounce off the walls.
There's a lot of half-built toys scattered
Yes.
around.
Yep, and they are touching and playing with everything. They had gone from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat.
The face side of Volodymyr is drinking this in. This is good. This feels good. But Volodymyr is going to take the catalytic converters and take his prized working possession, his little spot welder, and he's going to start spot welding the catalytic converters into so that they're forming kind of a triangle where they each have an end towards the inside, but there's an open space in the middle.
Okay. And it's your spot welding. I mean, you're going to be using welding glasses because and protection for sparks. And at least 2 different points, you've got Haruki looking over one of your shoulders or the other. Does not seem to be fazed by the light, does not seem to be worried about the sparks.
And when that's done, I'm going to take out what I stole from the hospital.
Okay.
You know the on the hospital machines that have telescoping parts or raised, there's the composite plastic rings
Yes.
they're very heat resistant, they're very tough. Volodymyr has stolen 6 of those.
Okay.
And he is going to turn them into basically like the orreries, the circle.
Yep. Yep.
So they're
I know what you
forming
mean.
so they're forming a cage.
Okay.
And once they've formed a cage, he's going to painstakingly, and I imagine this is going to take a couple hours, saw out a circle at the top that's about the size of a golf ball, big enough to fit a golf ball through.
Okay.
And that's what he's basically doing. He's preparing components of a device.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay. While you're doing this, Haruki just does not stop. It is a couple of hours of him playing with things, bouncing around, checking things out. Um,
Uh-oh. He's checking notes.
Oh yeah, yep. Do you have any surprise packages like kicking around in your workshop?
I guarantee there are some surprise packages. There's a Tupperware container sealed that is filled with his Serious Buddy,
Mhm.
untested. Yeah, it's a knocker's workshop. There is a ton of random shit and projects he worked on and forgot about, or half started and then forgot about.
Give me a perception plus alertness roll if you'd be so kind. 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Okay, perception awareness. That is okay. 7s, 8s, 9s. 4 successes.
Okay, that's good. Now give me a crafts plus chimerical alchemy roll for 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Okay. It's also 6. 3 successes.
Okay, so I should have had that done earlier, but that's fine. So things are progressing as you would like them to progress with your build. Things are fitting in as they should. The perception roll was because at one point when you are done with the spot welding and you're moving on to another part of the project, checking to see where Haruki is, because the kid is bouncing around your workshop, finding stuff and everything, and you'll see him over towards one corner, and he's got several of the egg-shaped surprise packages in a hand, and he's juggling 3 of them.
No. You are putting those down carefully. Oh no, please tell me he doesn't drop one.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Oh no.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So yeah, he kind of half turns towards you, and while he's still juggling the 3, they're in the air, and he's like, Why? Are they dangerous? Why would you have something dangerous in here? That makes no sense, having dangerous stuff in a place full of fun stuff like this. And his hands, the hand-eye coordination is amazing. He's not paying attention to the juggling at all when he looks towards you. But whether it's one of them is a little off balance or what, it wobbles in the air, and he just misses it with their fingers as it comes down, and it lands, and there is I wouldn't call it an earth-shaking kaboom, but there is a loud explosive noise. Not a lot of explosive force. It's this one in particular is almost kind of like a flashbang, a bright flash of
Vision
light.
goes white, ears start ringing.
Yeah, just about. However, when it goes off,
Uh-oh.
I'm going.
Oh no, Cliff. Oh no.
What would be applicable?
Oh no.
No, you're not. You don't have to roll for it. Basically, for a flash of a moment, about you're thinking 2-3 seconds. You kind of figure Haruki would react with some kind of a shock or surprise or something. He just had a small explosive device go off at his feet, pretty much. The arms come up and kind of like this, and suddenly, instead of this kind of cute-looking androgynous tween with great hair and interesting eyes, there is a 6'6" tall, almost, if you've ever seen demons in on Chinese scrolls or in temple drawings, kind of like that. Really tall, feline-ish ears, a muzzle that might be cat, might be fox, might be something along those lines, bristling with sharp teeth, whiskers out to here, a furred form, all in black and red. And it's almost like you blink, it's there, you blink, it's gone again. And Haruki's standing there. And he kind of goes, oh, I'm sorry. That was a shock.
Yes, is much shock. Please put back where found those.
And he very carefully puts the other two back down where he picked them up. So why do you have these? Those don't look like fun. Okay, wait. Yeah, no, I can see where they'd be fun. Are they for scaring demons?
Those are for if friends and I are somewhere and something scary tries to eat our faces to buy
so
us
they're
time to run away.
They're for scaring demons or spirits or whatever. Yeah, we do the same thing with firecrackers. Not quite to that. Could I get some of those? If I had some of those for the next dragon dance or lion dance,
absolutely
that would be awesome.
You may have those too.
I don't know if 2's enough.
If you want more, you're not allowed to make deals. If you want more, see if you can convince someone in your family to pay me money.
Oh, you just want money? Yeah, I get an allowance. I can give you money.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, how much are we talking? I mean, these are not perfect. I mean, like I kind of dropped that one and it was, but I'm thinking, what, 3 for $1?
$1.50.
Yeah, okay, deal. Yeah.
So how many do you want?
So he reaches into a back pocket, pulls out a very slim wallet that's kind of made of an iridescent holographic material.
Ugh.
Opens it, pulls out 2 20s, puts them down and says, how many will that get me? At 3 for $1.50, that's 50 cents each. So that's 2 for $1. So that's $40. So that would be 80 of them. Yeah, that's a good number.
I make for you.
Cool. Jimmy's gonna love this next day. Oh yeah.
Maybe don't be
New
telling
Year's
Jimmy
is
where you
gonna
got them.
rock. Well, yeah, no, I won't tell Jimmy, but yeah, I might, tell some of the guys. If it's
Now-
okay.
Caveat
What's that?
is statement. They all work. They
Okay.
might not all be doing same thing.
So some might be bigger or louder.
Some might be bigger, some might be louder, some might have pretty colors, some might sing songs.
Cool.
It is everything works.
Cool. Okay. And then there's a chirp sound from his back pocket, and he slips out a very small, slim smartphone and taps at it for a moment and goes, ah, crap. I have to go. It's kind of getting, they're wondering where I am. I told them I was going to go see friends to do. Yeah, okay. And he's kind of heading towards there. He's like, so I'll just drop by sometime, right?
Yes.
I know where you are. I'll
Yes.
knock. And I'll
Please
talk
knock.
to your,
My friend.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, and he kind of stops at the door and he bows and says, "Thank you very much for your hospitality, Mr. Volodymyr. I appreciated this evening."
Thank you for the payment, Haruki. It is much appreciated.
Excellent. I'll look forward to getting this stuff. Yeah. Okay. And then he slips out of the door, and you can, it takes a minute or two. You can hear the golem locking up behind him as he leaves.
Just gonna stand there for a minute, look at what I am building. Now I just need some silver. Pokes head out, looks at the golem. Thinking out loud, if I was to go and find a ball of finely crafted pure silver, who among the kith do you think I should talk to? I'm thinking the she.
And the golem stops as the lights whirl around his eyes for a few seconds, a few revolutions, and he says, "I would agree. Yes, see, we da."
Where did get language package?
There is a package, friend Volodymyr.
Oh no. Volodymyr then pauses and just kind of, wait. I begin searching his house to see if there's an internet jack or Volodymyr has had a sudden panic attack of, oh God, what if my roommate discovers the internet?
And as you're poking around, by the way, the table's been cleaned up.
Yeah.
And Larry is no longer in evidence.
Okay.
So,
good,
and
good,
as
good.
you're kind of like, digging around the apartment to check, the golem follows along behind you quietly until you stop, and then he says, "And have you lost something, friend Volodymyr?"
This might be dangerous question, but could be important. Have you been connecting to internet?
Connecting would possibly mean that there are moments when I have disconnected from it.
You are connected to internet.
Yes, yeah, si, da, I am.
Volodimir's jaw just kind of drops. How? How?
When friend Vladimir is at work, I have performed upgrades.
Okay. Oh, so that is where language comes from. That
Yes, that is correct.
the Rosetta Stone. That
One moment. Oh, there are more languages. Thank you, friend Vladimir. I will upgrade from 8 languages, which I currently have, to 142 available at this time.
okay. Oh, okay. I will panic about this later. Question. I know that our agreement has largely been that you stay here and guard the home. I suspect the Motley is going to want to do something that could involve going to talk to someone very dangerous. Is there any way possible, maybe, that I could convince you, beg you, ask you to please be ready to save our asses?
That will require some thought and consideration, which I am willing to do. The first challenge will be to leave the home in such a way as not to be seen.
Yes.
I believe that my unique physiognomy will cause consternation and concern among normal citizens.
It will, is truth.
The second challenge will be being able to find you in a rapid enough manner to ensure that I am able to help. And the third, and likely the least challenge, will be determining what method or form of assistance I will be required to give.
I only think I know how to fix one of those problems. I've been meaning to see if we can find a way to expand your radius of perception to enhance your perceptive capacities.
That is an upgrade I would be interested in performing.
Good. Let's see if we can double range.
Excellent. And that is where we will wrap the Volodymyr portion of our interesting situations this evening. That leaves one Motley member. So Hunter, it's not an unusual night at work. It's a night. It's work. You get home, and seated on the front step of your house is a very familiar figure, an exceptionally large man, larger than yourself. Today, dressed in gray slacks, a white shirt, a bright red tie with black swirls on it, and a not quite as scarlet of a red, kind of more of a orangey red jacket. Hitoshi, who you'll remember having met. And to his left is what looks like a 6-pack of Sapporo beer. And on his right looked to be a stack of 8 large pizzas.
Are you lost?
And he stands up and kind of bows towards you and says, "No, I thought that we should talk."
Wasn't expecting company, but come on in. And he'll walk up past him, open up the front entrance, puts his work bag off to the side, heads into the kitchen.
And he follows in with the pizzas balanced easily on one large plate-sized hand and the six-pack in the other. And he sets the pizzas down on the counter and says, I didn't know what you prefer, so I got several toppings. And he opens your fridge, puts the six-pack in it, pulls out two of the bottles, turns, and then just his thumbs snap the caps off both of them. And he hands you a bottle of Sapporo beer.
He takes it and he looks at it. I guess this is where you and I toast.
And his eyes widen a little bit. It says, I was just thinking eating and drinking first, and then we talk later.
Call it Irish heritage. I like to toast before I drink.
Oh, that is okay. A convention, yes, certainly.
So he raises up his bottle and he goes, may all your ups and downs be under the bed sheets. And he clinks it. It's
And
back.
Toshi just kind of looks at you for a moment and goes, huh. And then drinks his own. Opens up one of the pizza boxes and pretty much folds half of the pizza over itself. So it's a quarter pizza size. And when this man, much as you saw at the restaurant, when this man eats, this man eats.
He would take a single slice since he can't unhinge his jaw. And, you know, sit down and start to munch. And what do I owe the pleasure this evening, senor?
And you're just gonna,
I know. You can chew.
So, you know, once he swallows a huge mouthful, he says, like I said, eat first and then we'll talk afterwards. Once our bellies are full.
Oh,
That-
you
that
meant
is the
the
way of
entire
things.
stack.
Yes, unless you want to get more.
It's not my kind of appetite. But by all means, eat on.
And it's about probably close to an hour of mostly watching this guy pack away. Of the 8 pizzas, there's enough for you to have a decent meal. He easily seems to finish the rest. The same thing with the beer. For every one you drink, he's had 3.
Pizza, I'd probably have a second slice. A beer, I'd probably offer him a couple after we finish off that 6-pack.
So yeah, we'll be probably finishing the pizza about the same time that finishing the Sparrow. So he will, you know, when you offer him a beer, he kind of bows towards you and pulls a napkin out of his inside pocket, dabs his lips, and says, do you have a back sitting area outside? It is pleasant this time of night.
I do. And he would get up and lead him out to the back porch.
Okay. And he stops in the back porch and says, this is nice. This is a very nice place. I like this. You have a nice place, sir. And he sits down. He reaches into his jacket pocket and he pulls out a nice, very old looking, but very well kept leather cigar case and opens the top. And there are 2 large cigars in there. And he hands it towards you and says, do you?
I don't smoke, but thank you anyway.
May I?
Sure.
And he takes a cigar out and tucks the other one away. And then he kind of rubs his fingers together really quickly, and a flame appears about this high. And he lights his cigarette off his fingers and then just kind of like taps them twice, and the flame is gone. And he draws deep and he goes, this is nice. This is how I would spend most of my evenings. So you have a Auntie Hinode is, I think, just being a little bit of, if I may be a little less than normally polite, I think she's being a bitch. But that's Auntie Hinode.
I can't say I'm familiar enough with the individual to know. However, I can understand why she might be pissed off.
Oh, I can too, but when children and small animals are being children and small animals, I mean, you let them be children and small animals. You take this into account. The world doesn't always walk the path that you want it to, even if she's willing to go after you with a cane.
You are very true in this fact, sir.
I don't talk a lot. I listen and I think a lot. People don't ask me to talk a lot.
Why do you think that is?
I'm big,
I'm big.
and I can do things, which I'm sure you can do as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat trick you did there with your fingers. You probably wouldn't want to do that playing cards.
Oh, okay. Ha. Yes, no, I wouldn't.
Hmm. So,
But you are going to maybe go and talk with Odoro Cho about what's going on. And most most of us don't know a lot about Odoro Cho. I know a little about Odoro Cho because of the gods that I am a messenger for. Those of the bright fires and the dancing flames.
so tell me, what what would you recommend since you heard about our current dilemma and the proposition pitched towards our group? What do
Well,
you think we should do?
you see, the problem, I think, is the fact that there have not been any of the Brotherhood of the Scarlet Lantern here for a long time. And they are the go-betweens, the ambassadors, the diplomats, the people who talk between the groups to make sure everyone gets what they need and they get along. Um, that might be something that you could do in this case. And that, I think, is why Auntie Hinode is sending you, is because we don't have a brother of the Scarlet Lantern handy. So rather than asking one of us to do that which might be considered beneath us and therefore becoming an insult, she's asking, she has found a way, because you have come and made a request of her, that she can make a request of you in turn.
This brotherhood, did they only reach out to, and forgive me, I'm not a part of your culture. I can compare it to elements. So reaching out to your other family members, cousins, like your representation is fire, flame, correct?
That, yes, but not so much. They they walked between the peoples, so they would talk to the Hussein, which is my people, and then they would take make relations with the Wu Tian, um, like Odoro Cho, who you're going to meet, who is a
Ah,
celestial arrow. So you will find him very direct and possibly threatening, and as one, I think, large protective fellow to another large protective fellow. Um, do not, I am not trained in diplomacy, so it is difficult sometimes to frame the words the way that they need to be presented. Um, do not take his threats as threats. They are more of a ceremonial showing, but also do not take them as not threats, because even if they are ceremonial, they can be performed, if you know what I'm trying to say.
You don't have to be diplomatic to get your point across.
It comes across in Japanese much better than it comes across in English sometimes.
Mm. Are you going to be tagging along in our next get together?
I was only there so that Auntie Hinode would listen.
Oh, I know, but you just said
Um,
yourself, you tend to
I
be in positions that you don't get to speak up much. And I think personally, you do have a lot to say. I'm not saying that you need to attend, but perhaps you can, come around more often.
I like the quiet sometimes. I can focus on what I enjoy, and people don't bother me. When it comes to, I might be there when you go and speak with Auntie Hinode again. Jimmy will tell me if I am needed. And if I am not, then I won't show, I will not have to go. But I will go if there is a necessity. When it comes to going into old Chinatown to speak with the Wu Tian, I will not go. I would not be welcome.
That's understandable. Well, just know to hang out, it doesn't have to be a necessity. And I'm not talking about going to meet other people. Like, you seem like a pretty decent fellow. So,
Thank you. I think we have some things in common. You seem to be a very decent fellow yourself.
I've been called worse.
This has been a good night. I should get back down to my home. And he kind of butts out the what's left of the cigar by just kind of cupping it with his palm and holding it for a moment, and the smoke stops rising from it. And he takes out the cigar case, opens it, puts what's left of it in it, closes it, tucks it back into his pocket. And he stands and says, "Thank you very much for your hospitality. I have very much enjoyed myself and appreciated this evening."
Yeah, it's been fun. I don't have many people besides coworkers that tend to stop by over here. So,
I will keep this in mind.
yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
And he bows and just turns on his heel, walks around the corner of the house.
Mm. This will be interesting. As he heads inside and sees him out.
Okay, we're going to fast forward through a few days of the week, just because it's a few days of the week. Normal things happen. It's, you go to work, nothing unusual happens. And by unusual, Haley, you're still seeing things and dealing with spirits. This is usual for you. This is your normal. So when I say nothing unusual, it does not mean weird shit is not happening, because all of you do have weird shit that happens in your lives. And it hits Thursday. I would guess everybody. Now, if you had tried to arrange to get together before Thursday, weirdly, things just didn't jive. Schedules did not mesh up. The timing was not right. But then we hit Thursday, and I would guess that all of you are going to head to the Freehold.
Yep.
Excellent. And again, it's just like every other time that you have gone in on a Thursday. For viewers who are with us for the first time, first of all, I encourage you to go check out the playlists in our YouTube, Vancouver by Night, catch up on the old episodes and see how things go when they head to the Freehold. They all show up at the hospital about within a few moments of each other, but weirdly, the timing is so interesting that there's nobody in the lobby. You can hear people nearby. There was somebody just there, you're sure, who just went through a set of doors or walked down a hallway. As each of the Motley members heads individually to the elevators, the elevator doors open up just before they reach them, they step in, they press the 7th floor button, and weirdly, as much as the Motley all arrives at different, slightly different times, off by moments and never meet each other, when there is the ding and the elevator doors open on the 7th floor, all 5 sets of elevators open at the same time, and all 5 members of the Motley step out at the same time. The elevator trip always seems to take the same amount of time for everybody, but weirdly, it might not. So you all meet in the main lobby area of the 7th floor, and you're heading down towards the, what do they call it? The family room kind of space that that is the freehold during the Thursday nights. Who has the key?
I think Lily still does.
Yeah, Lily's still the only one with the key.
Okay. So you just you open the door, you go in. It's like any other Thursday night. From the outside, it looks like a family lounge space with 1980s furniture in it, a couple of tables, some couches and chairs, a sink, an ice machine, a fridge. Once you go in, and once the key is inserted, has been turned counterclockwise, and you go in, you step into the freehold portion of the Dreaming, where the furniture is much more sturdily built, archaic almost, much older, a lot of wood, a lot of leather, a lot of padding. The bale fire is in this little fireplace, which is where the microwave is, which means it's halfway up the wall when it's lounge type. There are cupboards, there are a couple of tables. The windows seem to look out over a forest area. Everyone is in their voile, their fey seeming when they step in, so they look like themselves. Yeah, actually, we have. Hang on. Yeah, we have enough time very quickly. If you folk want to just tell our viewers, especially for people who are here for the first time, when you step into the Dreaming, what do you look like? And let's start with Fagua.
Ooh, okay. Fagua has cobalt blue hair, tied on a top knot. The sides of her head are shaved. She has bronze, like metallic bronze skin, uh, like a tattoo or a mark of a triangle in her forehead, and some freckles that, if you look them closely, they look like galaxies or constellations. And she's wearing very loose clothes in reds and browns, a series of pouches around her waist, and some leather boots.
Wonderful. And Hunter.
Hunter would appear, he's normally around 6'3" or 6'4". His form would shoot up to about 6'6" ish. As a large troll-ish gargoyle type of creature with flaking off stone-like skin, a tunic top, shield on its back, half loincloth, half kilt tartan, and everything else is all bare. Very large feet, tree trunk like legs, hands like skillets. Just a hulking mass.
Excellent. Thank you. Vladimir, let us know what you're looking like tonight.
Volodymyr loses a couple inches in height. His skin is the red of iron-rich clay. He has a shock of white hair that looks like someone plugged him into an electrical outlet recently, and white spirals on his cheeks and his forehead. He is dressed as usual in a nightmare hodgepodge of late 70s, early 80s goth chic and 17th century French high fashion. Does not make
Beautiful.
it work, but doesn't seem to care.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Rosalind.
Rosaline stays about the same height. She has long, black, wavy hair, very pale skin, thin eyebrows with larger than normal eyes, and thin nose and no mouth. She's wearing kind of like a black Morticia Adams kind of dress that's flowy, and then you don't see her feet. What you see is kind of like a misty, kind of wispy tail, and she's floating above the ground.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Lily.
Lily. Well, see, because it's hot here, so I tied my hair quite up. But her hair is normally just large and curly and expressive, and just poofed right on out. And kind of I'm forgetting what skin color I used to say she had. Kind of rusty sort of skin color, and kind of medievalish style clothing of like a white top, a little suede lace-up bodice over top that, some leggings with a knee-length moss green skirt, and some knee-high lace-up leather boots. And slung over one shoulder is which I put it in it's in the other room, but a blue velvet bag with like some stars and moons embroidered on it.
Wonderful. Thank you. And as all of you enter the freehold and the door closes behind you, you hear the whistling of the tea kettle from the bale fire. And standing in front of the bale fire is a short, stocky, stout figure, a bogan for those of you that know the type. So not hugely tall, about 5 foot. She's wearing black, long layered skirts and a black ruffled blouse with a white apron over front of it. Lots of curly gray hair, wrinkles upon wrinkles on her face. She looks like one of those, if you've ever seen those apple dolls they make with dried apples. She gives off this aura of comfort and matronly care. And she reaches into the bale fire and lifts out the kettle, and she already has 5 teacups lined up, and she starts pouring the water. And as you come in, she says, okay, come in, dearies, get yourselves comfortable, I'll have tea for you in just a second. And Lily, who are these people? Because these are all, you go away to Lancashire for a few weeks and you come back and everything changes. And Lily, you would recognize Gertie.
Yes, because my first impulse is to just go, Gertie! And practically fly across the room to her, towards her.
And even as she's pouring tea, she's still able to kind of fold you into a huge hug with one other arm. As she looks at the other 4 of you and then looks down at Lily, who's hugging her madly, and says, well, I hope these ones are just as good as the other ones were. And where are the other? Oh, wait, no, I remember hearing something about that.
It's a lot.
So
There's much to say.
the Dreaming has sent you replacements. That is portentous locks.
I suppose. Huh.
And she finishes pouring the tea and sets them aside and says, well, Lester told me a little bit. I have to tell you, I rather like Lester. He is quite a gentleman. I might have to make him husband number 6. Or is it 7? I wasn't really married to Stephen. 6.
Just quick check. Lester's the sort of stammering nervous guy.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And she says, Arthur is a nice sort, but he's not one of us.
No.
And she starts handing out the tea. Hunter's mug is appropriately bloody huge. The teas that everyone's getting are, they smell amazing. Just what you want. Weirdly, Rosaline's teacup doesn't have anything in it, even though you saw her pour water into it. It's almost like it's more of a memory of tea. There's still a scent there, and you can kind of feel there's something there, but there it isn't water.
I try to sip out of it.
Even though you have no mouth, there is a flavor, kind of a minty, citrusy flavor.
Nice. I'll just keep going like this is normal.
So Gertie looks at Lily and says, well, I'm back from Lancashire. Beatrice is not, because there are still things to be done there. And it is not, she will be coming back eventually. I hope. There are things happening. I don't know that Misty will be returning to us. But the world changes. We carry on as best we can.
What do you mean? Has something happened to her?
Well, you know, the Canaan are a little different because without the glamour, they
Well, she
fade.
was always forgetting.
Yes. But if anyone can take care of her, it's our Betty. But I'm back. The
Yes.
lunchroom downstairs is mine once again.
Ooh.
And I am here to help when and as I can, even though Arthur and Lester will still be in charge, if you know what I mean. And she kind of, you can tell when she winks because it's like a topographical moving of continents very quickly on one side of her face as all the wrinkles kind of squinch in of them.
I see. Yep, I know what you.
But I'm
Good.
sure that all of you young people have amazingly critical things to discuss. I'm going to take my leave of you. I just wanted to make sure the tea was set and that you knew that I was back. And if you need anything at all, you come and see me in the kitchens downstairs, and I will make sure that you are taken care of. And she kind of bustles towards the door.
Okay. Thank
Rose-
you.
Rosalie
Missed
would be
you.
like, wait, I need something.
And she stops at the door and she kind of turns towards Rosalie and says, you are an interesting one, aren't you? She looks at Lily and says, have you taken this one to the court yet?
There's barely been time.
Well, when the next court comes up, you might want to take this young one in because she is young, isn't she?
Very. We were here when she chrysalised all over.
Oh my, in the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was like Halloween all over again.
oh dear. Oh dearie dear.
Yeah.
Well,
But she is here and it is good now.
you need to introduce her to the others of her sort.
There are more?
Well,
Well,
I mean, I
you've been
figured
to
there are more,
court.
but I
You've
didn't.
been to court. You've met the uncle.
Oh. Well, it's just because her legs, you know. So I wasn't sure if that meant something
That
else.
is different. I'm not sure. But uncle might.
Mm.
And she kind of turns more towards Rosalie and says, I'm sorry, dearie. I wasn't ignoring you. I just had to take care of things with young Lily here. What is it that you would need?
I'm very used to that
Oh.
being ignored. But my question was, do you know any more of my kind? And it appears you do.
It's
would like to meet
it's
them.
been a long time since I've been to court. there were things back in the day. It was quite a party. But showing my face there would still be very discomforting to a number of people. However, Lily can make sure that you meet the right people when the court gathers next.
I don't have time for the next court gathering. I need to meet them soon.
Well, hopefully the next court gathering will be soon. Otherwise, it can be difficult to even find them. I'm sure you're not the social butterfly that some kith are.
And thank you for the tea. She'll continue to sip with no mouth.
And Gertie says, right, all of you have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful evening. And you know where to find me. And she kind of slips out.
Oh,
Lily is slightly bouncing in place because Gertie is back.
so who was that?
Okay. So you know how there was the Bluebirds crew before you? Well, she was
Yeah.
one of the 3 that was here before Arthur and Lester.
Okay.
And they, her and 2 others, Birdie and Storyteller, help.
No, it was Gertie who you just met, Betty,
Betty
and Misty.
and Misty, that are still away. They had to go to where Betty's from over in England and deal with some sort of bigger issue than whatever we were dealing with. And so we got Arthur and Lester, but Gertie is back, and the tea is good.
Okay. All right, makes sense.
Oh.
We need
Wow.
to help Auntie Hinode. This is why we're here, right?
It is, and that is where myself and Fagua were leaning, and I think Hunter too. We were leaning towards that, but I thought it will be good to collect and discuss consensus. But you said that so definitively. How come?
Because it is definitive. We must help her.
Oh.
Okay, we had a kind of a plan B, which we haven't shared with you guys, which is
Oh,
to
yeah.
propose them that instead of taking that favor, we could do other stuff for them, including trying to connect them with the court.
And to add on to this, I got a visit from our sharp-dressed, fiery, hungry individual that we're all familiar with.
Oh,
Yeah. He decided to show up on my doorstep with a stack of pizzas, and I never knew somebody could unhinge their jaw like a snake like that. Anyway, so apparently their society used to have something what we were discussing for our plan B called the Brotherhood of Scarlet Lantern. And they had been lacking this for quite a while. So that might be something that we can hinge on if we're offering it as a substitute for us owing something else to somebody else. I would like to have us on some sort of stable ground when we're attempting to solve these problems, as opposed to constantly pulling our feet out of quicksand pits and this, that, and the other thing. If you catch what I'm throwing at you.
Hmm.
Didn't solving her problem also solve ours? I don't really know, but
It
that's
does,
fine.
but then we have to perform another task in order to do that, and I don't know how well we can trust these people. Even though a couple of them seem okay, at the same time, we have multiple other tasks to take care of, and it would be nice to have solidification on one aspect of our current checklist.
Hmm.
If it's any consolation, I trust her. And for some reason, with every warning I gave, you trusted me.
Hmm.
My approach is we could always just propose that to them and they can say no and we just owe that favor and we tried.
I never said it was going to work, but it's an option.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is all we can do is try and then see what their answer is, and if it's, well, we'll just see what it is and go work from that.
I think. What do you think, Volodymyr? You haven't said anything.
I think doing favor for scary lady with scary thing we know nothing about is a terrible idea. And the raccoons being teapots is tragic and horrible, but oh well.
So you're scared.
Hmm.
I'm smart.
So you're scared.
No, I'm smart.
Smart
She's
people
not.
should be scared about this.
It's okay to be scared, Polo. It's okay.
She is not a scary lady.
She is terrifying.
You
She
haven't
reminds
met frightening yet.
you haven't met my babushka. You would not be saying that if you knew my babushka.
Well, maybe Auntie Hinode is like your babushka, and that is why you were scared.
My babushka makes Baba Yaga look like a nice woman. I should be scared if she is like my babushka.
Yeah, but
Are you willing to help?
Well, I can't just let you all go and get yourselves killed now, can I?
Sure you can. The door's right over there.
We are motley.
We are Motley.
yeah, that's
So-
why we're discussing.
So
Yeah.
someone has to keep you all alive. Clearly, that is the adult in the room.
So you are going to be tagging along then.
I stay in car.
Hmm. So at
But
least
you're
we
not
have
gonna try and stop us if we go do this thing.
There are 4 of you, 1 of me, and 1 of you is him.
Mm,
So at least
yeah.
we have a census that everyone wants to help. So I think we're all in agreement.
Okay. Well, because just to sort of catch up the two that weren't there is that because Fagua had come and visited me at the library to talk about what we're talking about now on Monday, and oddly enough at the same, like, not too much after Jimmy came by, and so basically what he said on Monday was, think about it for a few days and then call me up when you've got a decision, and just, basically him or somebody else that we were already familiar with would facilitate our meeting so that it wouldn't be so messy.
I have one more thing to add that may persuade you. Auntie Hinode has offered to help lift what I think is a curse.
What?
That just goes to show the type of person she is.
Unless she is doing to get leverage on you to get you to do more things for her in the future that you might not want to be doing. You cannot. People don't just help other people.
Says you.
This curse has caused me extreme emotional turmoil. It has kept me isolated for years. It is the reason why I do not become close to people. And she just so willingly accepted and helped me.
That is big.
I will do as it takes.
I don't think she's bad. Like, out of all the horrible things she could have done to the raccoons, they were only turning into teapots.
And
Like,
it wasn't
yeah,
even permanent.
yeah, that's inconvenient, but it's not evil. We can propose to help them, including the communication with the court, and if they say no, we will just do the favor and try to get it over with and not owe anyone else more favors.
I think that's a good compromise. Or the current best option we have.
Okay.
I like that.
So it's I think we're turning into a yes instead of a maybe. Okay.
He's gonna stay in
So-
the car, so
That's okay.
that's the best thing we got.
Hey, that just means he's back up all the time.
Hmm.
Wow.
So I think we let Jim know and set up a
Yeah.
meeting
Yeah.
on Saturday or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I figure once we're done here, I'll just quick text them and be like, hey, so we've decided we want to do the things. What's next? But I mean, my phone won't work in here. So I didn't know if there was other stuff you guys needed to talk about or questions or.
I don't
have
think so.
said all that I needed to from the heart, and I hope you understand that I cannot let her go unhelped in this circumstance.
Wonderful. It looks like the Motley has its decision. They recorded that time almost perfectly timed to wrap things up for this week, so we can return next week and see what happens when the plan is put into play. Nothing wrong will happen. It can't. How could it go any? No, not at this point. So we're going to thank you very much, first of all, viewers, for tuning in tonight. We're going to go around the circle again, and each of our players will let you know where you can find them in other projects. So let us start with Hunter, please.
Sure, why not? Hi, everybody. I've played Hunter, your law enforcement troll. I am also known as Michael Walsh, or on the socials as Venture1399. You can find me here with this lovely, extraordinary group of individuals every Wednesday currently. I said
yeah,
currently.
Yep. Actually, it'll probably be changing as of this game. So we'll probably be showing two. I'd forgotten to mention it before we started recording. We'll probably be showing Tuesdays from now on due to scheduling issues.
Same time slot?
Same time slot.
Tuesdays, 3:30 Pacific,
And watch this.
6:30 Eastern.
I'll mention that will be something like Fridays or something going on.
I know,
I
right?
don't know what
know.
Vancouver by Night's doing. We're going with Tuesdays.
I
for
hope it's
now,
still on
so thank
Vancouver by
you.
night, so we're gonna go with Vancouver by night. Also, you can catch our former Motley member Rose Bulbasaur on an upcoming episode of Blank Bodies podcast. So stay tuned for that with a couple of close associates of mine. That's all I got for you, Cliff.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Next up, we have our meandering issue, Fagwa.
Hi everyone, I'm Najra. I play at Fagua. You can find me here on whenever this is gonna be playing. And you can find me on screen and on backstage for Girls Run These Worlds. It's a new project, women led, women forward. So we have a lot of things coming on. And I might be running a one shot for Innomine Satanis, which is a vintage indie game. And let's hope you like it. I don't know.
You're gonna do great.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, it will be awesome. I can tell.
Yes.
Next up, we have Lily.
Ah, yes. Hello, I'm Crystal. I played Lily Winters, your friendly neighborhood Corrid, and I will be here on this game wherever it moves to. But I'm not really on social media, so yeah, you'll just have to come here and watch me here and hang out with us and find out what happens next.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Rosaline.
That's me. Hi, I'm Haley. I play Rosaline Kelly, also known as Beyblade666 on the internet. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. Upcoming projects, I have a few. On May 24th is session 0 of They Came Beyond the Grave on Onyx Path's Twitch, and I'll be playing Debbie the Dupe there. It's a really fun game. I love it. It's like a 70s hammer horror kind of role-playing game. And it's like really cheesy acting and like it's really funny. It's a good game. And then in June 10th, well, that whole weekend is going to be like a gaming convention on Onyx Path Twitch, and I'll be in a few games, including Deviant the Renegades. And you can also find me here every week on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And rounding out the motley, we have Volodymyr.
Hey everyone, I'm Zev. Played Volodymyr, your high anxiety, low courage urban knocker. You can find me on Twitter at Rookery Gaming 30K. I just got back from Warhammer World earlier
so
this
jealous.
week, so I'm gonna have some stuff I'm talking about as I get my thoughts together over on the socials. You can find me currently here wherever streams are sold. I don't know, Blockbuster. Being the coward in the party and trying to keep everyone from running into dangerous situations.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm Cliff. I have been your storyteller for tonight, the guy who tosses out the plot bits and we want to see exactly what the Motley does with them, which is a surprise to the viewers and often a surprise to me as well. You can find me on the socials under the Vintage GM. You'll find me here on, I believe it's Tuesdays going forward. We'll let you know. There'll be advertising all over the place. Also on Saturdays, I'll be coming back as part of the Vampire Takeover, where the Vancouver Delves team are actually going to be trying something different as a little bit of a palate cleanser for a short story arc where new characters, new city, but familiar players. with some new people tossed in for some fun. There'll be other projects coming down the road, including potentially a D&D thing and a few other things. I don't know. Check out my Instagram. That's where I tend to advertise and announce everything that's going forward. Also, check out our Host Vancouver by Night YouTube, where you can see all the past episodes. Fantastic stuff. Hit subscribe, grab a membership if you want. It's finally at the point where it's making a few pennies every week, and those pennies go towards our players and gear and everything needed to bring you these wonderful entertainments. Also, check out their Patreon, $1 a month, and you can get all sorts of back content, special bits about the vampire games in particular. There might be some Changeling stuff in there coming up, and oh, so much stuff that you can find. Until next week, thank you very much. Stay wonderful. Stay, well, mostly sane. I mean, sanity is overrated. Stay healthy. Take care of yourself physically and mentally. And we'll see you in 7 nights for the next episode.